Stranger Things Season 5 is about to be the most insane season to date. Here's everything you need to know before the first episodes drop on November 26th. Season 5 is the last chapter, like we've all known. The story starts in the fall of 1987, right after the rifts tear through Hawkins. The town is under a strict military lockdown. The Upside Down is not far away anymore. The mission is clear. Find Vecna. End him. Remove his evil for good. This time, the whole group is in the same place, and the show treats that like a spark that can set everything off. It sets the stakes fast and starts moving. The showrunners said the big answers about the Upside Down are coming, and the first episodes make that clear with several reveals. This is a direct continuation with more pressure, tighter timing, and the clearest target yet. The episode titles give us some really solid clues. The crawl points to pushing forward through a living world, not just opening a single door. The Turnbow Trap ties the plot to Hawkins' history and a local family, which this show likes to do. Sorcerer sets up the most direct Dungeons & Dragons mirror since Season 1. Shock Jock points to the radio network shown in promos and behind the scenes. Escape from Camazotz hints at a hostile other place that bends rules and plays with what people see. The bridge and the right side up sound like crossing over, then flipping the power balance. None of these are simple throwaway titles. They match the plan the group uses to reach Vecna, isolate him, and take him out while the town is sealed and the Upside Down is loose. The time jump matters a ton. It explains why everyone looks older, and it lines up with the date of Will's disappearance. That date isn't just nostalgia, it's a kind of pressure point. Will feels Vecna again as soon as he returns to Hawkins, and the season centers him in a direct way. This brings the story back to Season 1. It's a coming of age under an immense weight he never asked for, and it closes the circle on what his connection has meant since that first night in the woods. Will's feelings, loyalties, and limits are tested in quiet scenes about control and cost, not only big spectacle. The big moments land because the small ones did first. The setup is clear. Hawkins is scarred by the rifts. Vecna is missing. The government is hunting Eleven while keeping the town locked down. That forces the group to split their effort into groups of focus points. Part of the season protects Eleven from people who blame her for what they do not and cannot understand. Part of it runs short missions around Hawkins using radio towers, safe basements, and small windows between patrols. The burn operations we got teased aren't a quick fix. Fire pushes vines back and buys time, but it also draws things out of the deep, dark shadows. The show uses that to stage fights in public places. When Demogorgons break into hospitals and onto streets, other families you know get pulled in. The scale stays big and local at the same time. Eleven's path is not a repeat of when we first saw her. She is hiding, yes, but she's also training and preparing, and she still pays a price when she uses her power. The season gives space to skill over raw emotion. Sensory deprivation tanks show up in simple and high-tech forms. Focus drills return. She pushes her power outward in new ways that still fit the rules. Levitation is more than just hovering. Force blasts travel farther. The cost remains: nosebleeds, shakes, short breaths. Nothing is free. That is why Hopper's support matters. He stands at the switch and the door. He is the one who carries her out when the alarms start. The quarantine changes how the group works. Radios become the backbone. A local station acts like a command post. The old walkies turn into a real network with tuned antennas and field teams. Signals can be traced, jammed, and hijacked. Mind flayer particles around a tower are not just a cool shot. If the enemy can use noise and signal, the kids have to change how they talk. That creates tension when timing is tight, and a dropped call is not only annoying, but very dangerous too. It also gives Robin, Dustin, and Erica jobs that fit their minds, while Steve, Nancy, Lucas, and others move in the field. Max is still central. The coma isn't a background note. It shapes Lucas, it tests the group's patience, and it anchors one of the tensest runs when the hospital turns into a hunt. These scenes are tight, loud, and personal. They put a clock on what the group can do without Eleven in the room. The show knows fans want Max back. It treats that with care, not cheap tricks. If and when her eyes open, the moment will feel earned. Until then, the focus stays on the people who refuse to leave her side. Steve and Nancy keep getting pulled toward the center of the fight. The shotgun we see in the teaser isn't only a prop to look cool. Targets are tougher, the slime looks different, and lab rooms are opened. The Hawkins lab thread returns for real reasons. There are answers and hardware there, and both sides know it. The season explores the place not only as it is now, but also as it is in the Upside Down's frozen time. The stuck in 1983 rule finally gets more attention. Why that date, what froze it, and how to move through a place that refuses to update. When characters step into mirrored rooms and find events etched into walls, it's not time travel. It is a locked snapshot you can use or break. Joyce and Hopper get real time together without losing their edge. The cabin is more than a reunion spot. It doubles as a base and a workshop, and the show reminds you why they anchor the human side. Quiet scenes steady the pace between dramatic, action-packed runs, and there are moments where they act like parents in this world. They ask for plans, push back on reckless moves, and then stand between kids and danger. Hopper gets practical action beats again, not just a slow-burning recovery. Grenades, rifles, and hard choices in tight halls return. He's not a superhero. He gets hurt, needs help, but still goes first when a door must be opened by hand. Mike and Eleven are calmer, but the noise around them is louder. Mike steps into a cleaner lead with Lucas and Dustin. He is not the strongest or the smartest, but he organizes, calls the plan, and makes the hard split when they need speed. It looks small on paper, but on screen, it keeps people alive. Lucas has grown into a scout and protector. He takes point in burn zones, counts down, and holds hands in rooms where machines hum and lights fail. Dustin is still the brain in the van. He tracks signals, builds adapters, runs maps, and misses Eddie in quiet ways that land when you see the small keepsakes he carries or visits he pays to his gravestone. Jonathan and Nancy have real weight to settle, and the season doesn't try to dodge it. Their talks in upside-down rooms are crucial. Choices are made, and the story is honest about how shared trauma ties people together and pulls them apart. Jonathan's scenes with Will also matter a lot. He's steady when Will's connection spikes, and he listens when old fears return. Argyle doesn't come back, which tightens the buyer's focus on family and keeps the story lean. The government is sharper now. There are two tracks. One is visible with soldiers, barricades, and burns. The other is quiet, with a hunt for 11. These paths cross and force Hopper, Murray, and Joyce to make calls they don't like. New faces show up on that side. A hard field operator with no patience for small-town views. A doctor who talks about risk like a math problem. Their priorities clash with saving one kid on one street when a whole town is at risk. The show brings back classic monsters and tweaks them to stay fresh and horrifying. Demogorgons aren't a rare sight, which changes how the threat works. You get wide fights with lines of soldiers, then tight horror with one family in a bathtub under the surface. Demo dogs return and punish noise and light. Fire works to hold them off, but can't fix everything. Bullets slow things down but don't end the threat for good. When something new appears, it feels like an important and terrifying evolution. The Upside Down feels less like a backdrop that fuels the show's story and more like a deadly living system that learns and pushes back against attempts to find answers. Vines pull away from heat. Particles move with intent. Surfaces leave residue that matters. The whole place feels active, not just gross. Vecna looks and feels less human. The body is heavier, the joints are thicker, and the outline hits harder. The voice stays cold and direct. The plan is bigger than killing 11. It targets power, radio, and movement across the town. That is why the tower matters, and why barricades are more than set pieces. When Vecna says found you, he can mean a person, a signal, a habit, or a lesson the group forgot which leaves them open to attack. He strikes in normal, everyday places. Kitchens, aisles, back offices, roads outside familiar stores. The Duffers said the Upside Down's core questions would be answered, and the season will clearly deliver that. We'll likely learn what the place truly is, why it looks like it does, and how Vecna connects to it beyond simple control. These answers arrive early, so the rest of the season can play with the results and drama rather than save everything for a huge dump of explanations at the end. Expect a clear scene that lays out the background, then later scenes where missions and tests show why that background matters. The tone seems to be high energy across the whole run, not a slow build leading up to one giant finale. That does not mean non-stop action, though. Each episode feels like an event, with them releasing in carefully timed blocks a month and then week apart. Deaths are always a big question. The production team knows that fans expect losses in a final chapter like this, and they know cheap shocks hurt the legacy. Every risk tracks back to a choice the characters can live with. If someone dies, it will finish an arc, keep a promise, or protect someone in a way that changes the ending. They wouldn't throw away almost a decade of high-quality storytelling for the sake of a low-effort, emotional death. Some fans expect that Dustin, Steve, Nancy, or Joyce will be the ones to go, but no pick is more popular than Hopper. However, the team have said that they want to close things on a lighthearted ending, so we might not see anything too earth-shattering with our main cast. The show likely keeps the friendship core without big speeches that waste too much time. There are hugs, looks that carry 9 years of history, and quick jokes that ease tension without breaking the season's tone. Steve is steady, treated like a young adult who will drive the car into a building if that is what the moment needs. Nancy's skill is never undercut. Mike finds a calm voice when panic starts. Will's courage is quiet but heavy and matures. 11 is becoming more than just a weapon. These beats land because the show lets them breathe. By the end, the plan depends on a bridge. Not only a literal, real bridge, but a path between two states. The group must cross, hold, and reverse something that has stayed the same since 1983. The Right Side Up, the title of the final episode, is a promise. The season tries to set the world back the way it should be. That doesn't mean everyone lives, or every building stands, or even that every mystery gets a good answer. It means the story respects its start and ends in a shape that fits, transforming the world back into one of purity. The Duffers called the ending inevitable, which means it should feel right, even if the build-up hurts. There is still life after the finale for the brand as a whole, but the main story of our beloved crew ends here. Spin-offs and tie-ins, if they come, will live in a different corner and need to do their own thing to leave the main show neatly tied up. Future projects may nod to this group we've been with for so long, but the show that began in 2016 ends with this last episode, and that will never change. That feeling of larger life while still wrapping up the original show for good gives the final scenes more weight. When the camera stays on faces, it's saying goodbye, not to the world of Stranger Things, but to the characters we're grown up with. So, there you have it. What do you think of the information we have so far? Are you hyped for the final season? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to see more Stranger Things content and theories, click the video on screen now.